So this is, okay. So this is what we label over on Monday. So we talk about gold, okay? And here is the quantity of gold, and then here is the price of gold, okay? And demand and supply. So we are going to elaborate two concepts. One is about exogenous variable, and the other is endogenous variable. So exogenous variables. And endogenous. Okay, so what's the difference? We are talking about model. The variables discussed in the model will be called endogenous, okay? The variables discussed in the model will be called endogenous variable, 内生变数. Okay, here is the model, okay? This is a model. It is about supply and demand of gold, okay? It's about supply and demand of gold. Okay, and so here you have quantity, you have price. So P and Q, they are endogenous variables. So here, is P1 and Q1 and P2, Q2. So price goes down, okay? Price goes down, quantity demanded, okay? Quantity demanded goes up. Okay, price goes down, quantity demanded goes up. And price goes up, quantity demanded goes down. Okay? But this is for the endogenous variable. Suppose something outside this model, and what we're going to talk about is interest rate. Okay? As you know, if you buy gold, right? Gold is a mineral, right? It cannot generate more gold. Okay, so if you have gold, you buy 1 ounce, forever is 1 ounce. It can never generate any income for you. But suppose you have money, okay, so let us say $1,000, and you deposit in a bank, what you get? You get interest payment out of it. So because of that, the first important thing to know is that R is an exogenous variable. This is outside the model, okay? And if it is outside the model, any exogenous variable changes. It is the change of the demand curve. And in this case, we say it goes down, right? If it goes down, what does that mean? Okay? So originally, say, the interest rate is 5%. So if you hold gold instead of money, in a bank, what would you do? You're gonna lose 5% interest rate, right? You're gonna lose 5% of your income. But suppose interest rate goes down, right? What happened? The loss in income goes down, okay? The loss of income goes down, so it means that you get more incentive to buy gold. And that's exactly what happened, right? So 2 weeks ago, the Federal Reserve decreases the interest rate. So what happened? Demand for gold goes up, okay? Demand for gold goes up, okay? And this is the difference. Endogenous variable, it moves along the curve. Exogenous variable, it shifts the curve. And suppose interest rate goes up, what happened? The demand for gold will go down. Why? Because, say, interest rate is 5% and now it's 10%, right? So you used to lose 5% of interest income, but now if interest rate goes up to 10%, what happened? You're going to lose 10% of the income. So the loss goes up, right? So the loss goes up, so you want to hold less gold. And the demand shifts to the left. Questions? Okay, and now we are going to derive aggregate demand. Okay, and before we go to aggregate demand, I want to review a little bit what we have done on aggregate supply. So here is the aggregate supply. Okay, Y, this is national income, right? And P, this is the general price level. Okay, as we say, for the whole economy, we actually produce a lot of things, right? Cars, trucks, computers, microchips, and food, right? Restaurants, coffees, all these things. But it is very hard to measure all these things in terms of quantity. So the alternative that we have is we use money, right? And so we imagine that in this economy there is a whole unit to produce goods. And according to John Maynard Keynes, his idea is that, okay, what you actually need to increase the production is to increase demand. What does that mean? That means in his time, okay, there's a Great Depression. So the economy is really bad and unemployment is really high. And so in this case, it means that, okay, the supply curve is actually flat. So if you're going to increase demand, okay, you will not increase any price level. And so that's another point, because John Maynard Keynes said, price rigidity, right? He said, price goes up quite easily, but it doesn't go down as often as we would like. And so here, sort of reflecting what his his idea about how the economy works. But generally, okay, the economy is actually like this. That means if you want to produce more, actually you have to pay more, okay, because there's greater demand on resources, on labor, on capital, on all these materials than what you get. You get increase in price level. And then this is the limit, okay? Where is the limit? The full employment production level. For any economy, okay, if the economy is at full employment, you use all the labor, all the capital, all the resources, this is the limit you can have, okay? So you cannot produce more than this, okay? You cannot produce more than this. And so this is aggregate supply curve. Actually, we have three sections. One section is horizontal, the other section positive slope, and the other one vertical, okay? So basically, this is the idea, okay? A little bit different from what you said about individual goods and services. So we have Q, we have P here. So what is the supply curve? The supply curve actually is the marginal cost of production. So this is what we have. We discussed in microeconomics, and we show that the supply curve actually is the marginal cost curve. But here, we talk about the whole economy is a little bit different, okay? Then we get to aggregate demand. Let us say this is the Keynesian idea, okay? So you have Y as here, and you have AE, aggregate expenditure, and you have YD, okay? And this is the 45-degree line. Okay, any questions? Okay, so what is AE? Okay, AE is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, so let us say this is aggregate expenditure 1 at P1, okay? At price level P1, okay? And so here will be Y1. And then we have another aggregate expenditure curve, but actually, we suppose they are the same. But these two aggregate expenditure, they are facing two different price level, okay? Because the price level is different. Even you have the same money, right? The same amount of money, but because the price level is different, so the amount of goods you can buy will be different. So then, let us say it is here, aggregate expenditure to 2 at price level 2. So why? Again, so exogenous variable. So endogenous variable, you have YS here, and you have A-YD here, right? So these two are endogenous variable. And what about P? P is price level, right? It's not here, it's not here, right? So P is an exogenous variable. It is outside this model. So when you have different price level, even though you have the same aggregate expenditure, because you are facing two different price levels, so that means it will shift this curve. Okay, this curve will be shifted. And so now the question is, okay, the question is, which one, okay, which one has higher price level? Okay, which one has higher price level? Chen Yijun. So which price level will be higher? Excuse me? Which one? Price level, I mean price level. No, price level will be P1, P2. P2 is higher because if the price level is higher, right, with the same amount of money, okay, the goods you can buy is actually smaller, right? So which one is higher, P1 or P2? So let us say, a lunchbox is $50, right? And now it becomes $100. Okay, more expensive. So when goods becomes more expensive, when price level goes up, actually the real production is smaller, right? So P1, P2, which one is higher? Excuse me? P1 is higher, okay? So then you have Y here, P here, right? So even though we say AE is the same, but because you are facing two different price levels, and P1 is higher, so because of that, the amount of goods you can buy is smaller, right? Okay, good. So P1 will be here, and Y1 will be here, okay? And so P2 will be smaller, right? P2 will be here, and Y2 will be here. So this will be aggregate demand curve, okay? This will be aggregate demand curve. For next semester, okay, I'm going to show you deriving aggregate demand curve using ISLM model. Okay, we will talk about it when we finish the money market. Okay, questions? Okay, so the same thing. When you see a line in economics, you want to know what factors will affect this line and how it's going to be shaped. Okay? Okay, so if P goes up, okay, aggregate expenditure actually shifts down, right? If P goes up, okay, P goes up because here P2 is lower, P1 is higher, it's gonna shift this curve, okay? But if P goes up, okay, it moves along AD curve, okay? So now, because P is an endogenous variable here. So P goes down, okay? P goes down, Y goes up. So this is moving, okay? Moving along the aggregate demand curve. It does not shift it, okay? Okay, so basically, whatever can move C plus I plus G plus X and minus M will shift aggregate demand curve. Again, you look at this, right? You look at this. Is C in this model? No. I in this model? No. G? No. X, M, the same thing. So, if consumption goes up, investment goes up, export, okay, goes up, what happened? AD goes up, shift to the right. Okay? So what does that mean? Any items here, C, I, X, or also G, sorry. If it goes up, it means that the economy gonna have more demand. If there's more demand, aggregate demand curve shift to the right. Okay, but what happened? If M goes up, or T tax goes up, aggregate demand gonna goes down and shift to the left. Okay? So basically, what will affect aggregate demand curve? Anything in aggregate expenditure. And oftentimes we say if you increase C, I, and G, that is called stimulate. Stimulus. Okay, it's called stimulus. Stimulus means you want to increase production. Okay? And so the variables here, C, G, I, X, if it goes up, it shifts to the right. If M, that's import, right? You import more goods or you increase tax, what will happen? Aggregate demand will shift to the left. So then what about this aggregate supply curve? There are basically two factors that will affect aggregate supply curve. One is technology, okay? And the other is cost. If cost goes up, okay, if cost goes up, the same thing in microeconomics. If the cost goes up, okay, aggregate supply curve shift to the left. Okay, and if technology goes up, what happened? It shifts to the right. Okay? Questions? So basically, the idea is the same thing with microeconomics. Okay, in terms of the shifting of the aggregate demand and aggregate supply, basically that's the same with microeconomics. But, okay, but there will be some tricky questions because there is horizontal section here, there is positive slope here, and then there's vertical slope there. So there could be Okay, let me do this. Okay, so let us talk about microeconomics first. Okay, so S goes up, what you get? P goes down, Q goes up, right? Supply goes down, P goes up, Q goes down, right? And D, demand, goes up, okay? P goes up, Q goes up. And D goes down, P goes down, Q goes down. Okay, so that's the same thing. So let us say, because now it is winter, right? And we have bird flu. Okay. Wang Peizhen. What is bird flu? Excuse me? Exactly. Okay. So if you have bird flu, can you tell me what happened to the egg market? Price and quantity. If there's bird flu, what will happen to the egg market? Okay. Because a lot of chickens will be dying, right? You know, because of the flu. And then, what about demand? Will there be any effect on demand? Do you like any eggs with flu virus? Probably not, right? Okay. So here. So if it is microeconomics, usually we have questions like this, right? And so you have here, supply goes down, P go up, Q goes down, and you have demand goes down, you have price goes down, and quantity goes down. So these two things, okay, this factor affects two. One is supply, and one is demand. So what you get? You get quantity will absolutely go down, right? But no idea about price, okay? So that is the same thing here, okay? You have aggregate demand, aggregate supply. It goes up, goes down, right? Shift to the right, shift to the left. That's the same thing here. So basically this combination, okay? This type of questions will be in the final, okay? Something like this. But there's one caveat. Okay, so let us say here, if I say the economy is already at full employment, okay? The economy is already at full employment, so it is here, right? Okay, if you increase aggregate demand, what would you get? If you increase aggregate demand, okay, the only thing you get is inflation. There is no increase in production level, okay, because the production level is already at full employment, okay? So that's the difference. And if, let us say, it is at the horizontal section here, right? So if you increase aggregate demand and the economy is at this horizontal part, what does that mean? That means you will increase in production. Okay, you increase in income. But what about price level? Price level stays the same. It doesn't change. Okay, good. So, you know, for microeconomics, it's like this. Okay, but for macroeconomics, it's a little bit complicated because you have horizontal section and also vertical sections. So it is sometimes we say if you have too much increase in demand, what would you do to the economy? It is called overheating. Okay, overheating means that you have too much demand and the economy is just hot red. And what you have more inflation rather than increase in income or production. Okay. Okay. Questions? Okay, so we are going to discuss inflation again. So about inflation, it doesn't mean the price of bread goes up, price of eggs goes up, or price of, say, sandwiches or cars goes up. It means everything, okay, the general price level. And how does it work? Actually, when we have aggregate demand and aggregate supply, we can easily talk about it, okay? So, this is Y, okay, and here is P. As I say, generally the economy is not here, right? We don't have very high unemployment, usually, and so we will put down this section, the positive slope, and then the vertical one. So it will be something like this. Aggregate supply, okay, and you have aggregate demand. So now, if you have increase in demand, so what you get? You get higher income, higher production, and also inflation, okay? So this is what we call demand pool. Demand pool inflation. Okay. So why we have inflation? Because you have too much demand. And the other one is called cost push. Okay, cost push. Okay, how does it work? If there is too much cost increase, what happens? Aggregate supply will go down. Aggregate supply goes down, you shift to the left. When you shift to the left, what you get? You get higher price and lower production. So higher price and lower production. And here you have higher price and also higher production. Okay? So here you have demand pool inflation. Okay? It's because you have too much demand. So that's the reason, at the first week, right? At the first week we say why, the Federal Reserve want to increase the interest rate when there's inflation. Because if you increase interest rate, it will cut down consumption, cut down investment, cut down government expenditure. And so, because of that, the demand will shift to the left. And then there will be, lower price level, okay? And when you have too much cost, okay, what would you do? Actually, this is more difficult because, you have a higher cost, then you have to find a way to increase supply. And that generally is not easy, okay? For example, Donald Trump, he's called president-elect. What does he want? He wants lower immigration. Actually, we can analyze it right now. Okay, so let me erase this. So as a matter of fact, you already have a very powerful tools that can analyze the economy. Okay, so let us say this is the labor market. Okay, the amount of labor, and this is the price wage rate. Okay, you have supply. Okay, and then you have demand for labor, supply for labor, and here is the production function. Okay, this is L and this is Y. And the production function looks like this. Okay, FL. Remember, we spent some time talking about production function? Okay, so if the question is, what is the impact, okay, economic impact of Trump's immigration policy. Okay? So how are you going to analyze it? Lower immigration means fewer people come to the US, right? So what does that mean? Supply of labor going to go down. Okay, supply of labor going to go down, right? So originally, the production level is here, the employment level is here, and national income is here, right? But now, Donald Trump said we're going to get rid of the migrants, okay? Kick them out of the United States. So what you get? So wage rate going to go up, okay? Wage rate going to go up. So let me put down this. Okay, and what about here? Employment going to go down, and production level going to go down. Okay, can anyone tell me how does this reflect in terms of AS, aggregate supply? So what would be the impact of this policy to aggregate supply? Huang Pingxuan. Okay, so this is the labor market, right? And this is the production function. Suppose I want you to draw aggregate supply and aggregate demand curve for me. Okay, and what is the impact to aggregate supply? What is the impact of this policy to aggregate supply? Supply of labor, okay, because you kick a lot of migrants out, right? So supply of labor goes down, shift to the left, okay? And this is the production function, okay? And so now you have a new equilibrium at this point. But if we want to, if I want you to use aggregate supply and aggregate demand, okay, say I draw a aggregate supply curve here, okay? How am I going to show that impact here? How to show it? Aggregate supply curve will shift to the left or shift to the right? To the left, okay? So what does that mean? So Trump's policy, okay, Trump's policy will actually increase price level and cut down production, cut down income, right? But honestly, why so many people choose Donald Trump? Okay, Beijing. So why so many people choose Donald Trump? Actually, his policy, is it good to the US economy? No, right? Price will go up, employment will go down, right? And production income will go down too, right? So why people choose Donald Trump? So in my opinion, this is a stupid policy, right? So why people choose him? It's not that easy, but try.
关税吗？
Tariff is a different issue. Tariff is, we can talk about it, okay? Okay, if tariff goes up, right? How are you going to show here? Tariff goes up, okay? If tariff goes up, what happened? Price will go up, right? Tariff go up, price will go up. It means cost will go up, okay? It means, why? Because some of the materials are imported, okay? Consumer goods, okay? And some of the machines material all imported. So if your tariff goes up, it means price level goes up, it means cost will go up. So aggregate supply curve will shift to the left. Okay, that's the same thing. So as a matter of fact, Trump said, I'm going to increase more tariff, right? And I'm going to cut the immigrants, okay? And so both policy have the same impact. Aggregate supply will go down. Price level will go up. Okay, let's take a break.